is only my second time doing an open mic. Also, my name is Misha. She said Misha. That was the name of the dog across the street when I was growing up. I really hated it when I was a kid when people would call me Misha. But I've kind of gotten over it. But when I would always say Misha rhymes with Fisha. Like, I want people to associate my name with a fish for some reason. Now I say it rhymes with Trisha. Anyway, I admit that I'm very underprepared. I didn't know about this until this morning. So I wrote down some stuff that I'm going to say, and you can laugh if you want to. But then I wrote some notes in case I forget. I don't know if they're going to make sense when I look at them. But I want to tell you about this milestone that happened in my life. A few months ago, my son, my child, my offspring, moved out of my house. I am what they call an empty nester. Anybody here an empty nester? Yes. I had him young. I was only 19 when I had him, so I am a young empty nester, which is pretty fabulous. I was so overparenting, not overparenting. I was burnt out of parenting. Like a couple years ago, he just started to become a real asshole. And I hope that it's something that he'll potentially grow out of in like 10 years. But there's also the possibility that I've just raised a horrible human being, and that's not my fault. It's his problem now. Thank you for laughing. Gosh, I'm forgetting one. Yes, but I have more freedom than I have ever had in my entire adulthood. I don't have to tell anyone when I'm going to be home. I don't have to hide my weed from anyone. It's great. And all the dishes in the sink are mine. Yes. No cleaning up after other people anymore. But yeah, a lot of my friends are at this age where they are either just starting to have babies or they're looking for the partner to have babies with. And so sometimes they'll start talking about this, and I try to be this wise lady that like doesn't give advice until I'm asked for it. So I just like sit there being quiet, let them talk about how wonderful babies are and how much they're looking forward to it happening someday. And I wait till they're like, Misha, what do you think about having kids? I mean, you have a kid. Would you do it again? Or, I'm like, no! Do not have children! Unless you're really interested in dedicating your entire life to them. They will poop on you many times. They will vomit on you. And that, you'll just drive them around places. You'll put your whole dedication of life into them, into their well-being and happiness. And after you've been doing that for about 15 years, they're gonna hate you for it. Yeah. Oh yeah, it started to get really obnoxious when we would be like, hey buddy, maybe like 18 hours a day on the computer is a little bit too much. And he'd say, you never loved me! All my problems are your fault! I was like, okay.
Junior.
Oh, I lose my brain and I cannot remember anything. Yeah, so continuing off that, well, nobody will love you if you are addicted to computers. I actually dated someone one time who was like 30 years old and he was still addicted to computer games. And I was only 21 or 22, so I was too young, too inexperienced at that point to understand the concept of red flags. But women are getting smarter younger nowadays, I feel like. So they're like, boys are not gonna get away with that so well. Not that it has to be about boys. Oh yeah, so people ask me, if you could do it over again, would you have kids? And it's just the weirdest question that I will never know the answer to. It's a whole other hypothetical life, and I'll just never know. Maybe if I hadn't had kids at this age, I'd just be like, oh, babies, oh, I need one. I'm actually afraid of babies because I'm afraid that they have some sort of contagious thing. Like, keep it over there. I'm afraid that if I smell it, I'm gonna need one. I don't want that to happen. But it came close to not happening, actually. I'm going to tell you about the day I found out I was pregnant. I was young, I was only 18, and my boobs were getting really tender, and I was like, this is weird. And then so I went and got the pee stick, and I peed on it, and I was like, you're not pregnant. But then waited a couple days, and I didn't have my period, and so I was like, oh shoot, I think I might be pregnant, but like this stick said the wrong thing. Now I have to go somewhere to a doctor and find out. So I like called up this place that gave out free pregnancy tests, and I was like, I need a pregnancy test. So I go there, I pee in the cup, they tell me, guess what, you're pregnant. Here's a pamphlet about, it was a pro-life place that I went to on accident. So they gave me this pamphlet, they gave me this really big guilt trip about how like, oh, he's the size of a turd or something. When they're this old, they're the size of a grapefruit and they have fingers and fingernails. Don't even think about getting an abortion. So I walked out of that place and I called Planned Parenthood immediately, scheduled an abortion. But I didn't show up. I never showed up for that abortion that I scheduled, and sometimes I regret it. Don't tell anyone. I know it's true for so many of you also. Don't pretend like you never had that thought. When I was pregnant, I was working at a Jewish deli, and that's not a racial thing, it was literally called like Jewish deli. That was the name. And they served a lot of sauerkraut there. I was the dishwasher. And the day that I decided to go to college, do you see where this is going? I'm armpit deep in a bucket of sauerkraut, like hosing it out with a thing, like getting all the sauerkraut out of the bottom. I'm pregnant. It's like the first trimester, and so literally, this is the moment. I'm armpit deep in a sauerkraut bucket, and I go, I'm gonna have to go to college. So I did. I went to college. I was a single mom in college, and I got through it with a 3.9 GPA. College was great. It's not something I was planning to say. I should get back on track. Okay, so I'm the type of parent. Is there a timer thing? Is there someone going to say where I'm at?
Oh, we see.
I have no idea how long I've been talking.
I wasn't timing, but we're
Okay, I got like two more little stories. Okay. So I am the type of parent who I never lied to my child. I never tried to make him believe that Santa Claus was real, or that like the Easter Bunny or Jesus or the Tooth Fairy or like any of that stuff. I never lied to him. I always told him about like the real world, right? Except for there was one thing that I used to lie about, and that was at homework time. I would go out and pretend to put the chickens into their coop, and I would go out behind the chicken coop and sit on this little bale of straw and smoke a little weed. It was one of the best ways to get through the horrendous homework time. This is when they came out with Common Core math. Yeah, it was terrible. But if I went out and smoked a little bit of weed before homework, it was pretty fun. And I'd come in and he would be like, "Mom, why do you smell weird?" And I'd be like, "I don't smell weird." I don't know what you're talking about. Stop being silly. But the tables turned, because then when he was a teenager and he comes home and I'm like, "Huh, you kind of smell like pot, buddy." And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." But one time he actually asked me if he could have some weed. He was like, "Mom, I have a really bad headache. I think smoking some weed would help. Can you please give me some?" And I was like, "No, you little shit. I am not giving you weed. We've talked about this. Like, I don't approve. I don't think you should do it until you're older." And then I was like, maybe I'll just give him some CBD. That's not bad, right? Like, it's for a headache. It's medicinal. So I go to my little weed stash and I like pull it out, and it's like, he's stolen it all. And I'm like, "You little shit, you stole all of my weed." He's like, "I didn't steal it all, Mom. I left you a little." Anyway, that's all the silly things I have to tell you about momhood, but I want to tie it into the theme of strength, because I think that being a mom is one of the hardest things in the world. And so just I want to shout out to all the people who are moms or will be moms or have a mom or choosing to not be a mom too, because that's also a good choice, I think.